Hello YouTubers! Welcome back to the Hobbit series. No, I'm not logged into the channel. This book series goes on at the moment. My bad. But the channel was not taken down, so I just didn't relog back into it. So anyway, we're on chapter 5. Riddles in the Dark. When Bibble opened his eyes, he wondered where he had, for it was just as dark as with them shut. No one was anywhere near him. Just imagine this way, he could hear nothing, see nothing, and he could feel nothing except the stone on the floor. Very slowly he got up and galloped around on all fours until he touched the wall of the tunnel. But neither up nor down could he find anything. Nothing at all. No sign of goblins. No sign of ghosts. His head was swimming. And his far from turn even in the direction he had been going in when he had his fall. He guessed as well as he could and crawled along for a good way till suddenly his hand met what felt like a tiny ring in cold metal lying on the floor, the tunnel. It was a turning point in his career, but he did not know it. He put the ring in his pocket, almost without thinking. Suddenly, it did not seem of any particular use at the moment. He did not go much further, but sat down on the cold floor and gave himself up to complete miserableness. For a long while, he thought of himself frying bacon and eggs in his own kitchen at home, where he could feel inside it was high time for the meal other. But only when you don't miss about her. He could not think what to do, nor could he think of what had happened. Or why he had been left behind. Or why, if he'd been left behind, the goblins had not caught him. Or even why his head was so sore. And too fussy, he had been lying so quietly, out of sight and out of mind, in a very dark corner for a long while. After some time, he felt for his pipe. It was not broken, and that was something. And he felt for his pouch, and there was some tobacco in it, and that was something more. And he felt for matches, and he could not find any at all, and that shattered his hopes completely. Just as well for him, he agreed when he came to his senses. Goodness knows what striking the matches and smell of tobacco brought on him and dark holes in that horrible place. Still at the moment, felt very crushed. When the slapping of all his pockets and ran around all around himself a mattress, his hand came on the tilt of his little sword, the little dagger he had got from the trolls. And that he had quite forgotten. None, unfortunately, had the goblins noticed it. So he wore it inside his bleachers. Now he drew it out and shone pale and dim before his eyes. So it is an elfish way too, he thought, and goblins are not very near, but yet they're not far enough. But somehow he was comforted. It was rather splendid to be wearing a blade made golden from the goblin wars of with so many sunsets sun. And that's how he announced that such weapons made great passion and goblins came upon them suddenly. Go back? He thought. No good at all. Go sideways. Impossible. Go forward. All you can do. On we go. Go up. He got and trotted along with his little sword held in front of him. On one hand feeling the wall, and his heart over plot and picture. Now, certainly, Bibble was in what is called tight space. But you must remember it was not quite so tight for him. It would have been for me or you. Hobbits are not quite like ordinary people. And after all, their holes are nice, shady places and properly aired. Quite different from the tunnels of the goblins. They are more used to tunneling than we are. They do not easily lose their sense of direction underground. Not when it's had to come from being bumped. Also, they can move very quietly and not easily and recover wonderfully from falls and bruises. They have a fun of wisdom and life sayings that men mostly have never heard and forgotten years ago. I should not have liked to be in Mr. Bacon's place all the same. The tunnel seemed to have no end. All I know that it was still going down pretty steadily and keeping in the same direction in spite of a twist and a turn or two. There were passages leaning off to the side every now and then, so he knew by the glimmer of his sword, or could feel with his hand on the wall. At least he took no notice. He took the height house for the view of goblins. I have imagined dark things coming out of them. On and on he went, and down, still hearing no sound of anything except the occasional whir of a bat by his ears. Still them at first, and came too frequent about it about. I do not know how long he had done like this. I need to go on. Let stranger stop. On, tired and tired. And then all the way to tomorrow, and over to the days beyond. Suddenly, without any warning, he tried it splash into water. Ugh! It was ice cold. They pulled him up, sharp and short. He did not know whether it was just a pool on the path, or the edge of an underground stream that crossed the passage, or the brink of a deep, dark, subterranean lake. The sword was hardly shining at all. He stopped and he could hear, when he listened hard, drops dripping from an unseen roof into the water below. But there seemed to be no other sort of sound. So it is a pool or a lake, not an underground river, he thought. Still, he did not dare to way down into the darkness. He could not swim. He thought too of nasty slimy things with big bulging blind eyes wiggling in the water. There are strange things living in the pools and lakes, hearts of mountains. Fish your father swam in. Goodness only knows how many years ago, I never swam in again. Well, the eyes grew bigger and bigger and bigger from trying to see in the blackness. And also, there were other things more slimy than fish. Even in the tunnels and caves. The goblins had made for themselves. There are other things living being known to them. Has leaked in from outside to light up in the dark. Some of these caves, too, go back in the beginning to the ages before the goblins. I lining them or drawing them up passages. The original owners are still there in a lot of corners, slinking and nosing about. Deep down here by the dark water lived old Gollum, a small slimy creature. I don't know where he came from, nor who or what he was. He was Gollum. A starkness, except for two big, round, pale eyes and a thin face. He had a little boat. They rolled about quite quietly on the lake. Well, lake it was, wide and deep and deadly cold. They felt they were large feet hanging over the side. I'll never ripple he made, not he. His look, of a pale lamp, like a sublime fish. When she got but that was one thing as quick as thinking. And like me too. Goblin. He thought good. And I could get it. I took it, they never found him out. Just lots of them from me and they ever came down along anywhere near the edge of the water. I was prowling around. They fairly someone did. But they had a feeling that something unpleasant was lurking down there. Now, on the very roots of the mountain, they had come on the lake. And they were tunneling down long ago. And they found they could go no further. So there they rode and then in that direction. There was no reason to go that way. Unless the great goblin set them. Sometimes he took a fancy for the fish from the lake. But sometimes neither goblin nor fish came back. Actually, Golem lived on a slimy island of rock in the middle of the lake. He was watching Bibble now from distance with his pale eyes like telescopes. Bibble could not see him, but he was wondering a lot about Bibble. Well, you could see he was no goblin at all. Gollum got into his boat and shot off on the island. Well, Bibble was sitting on the rim on the gallop. Rimmergast mocked it, and at the end of his way in sweats. And then up came Gollum and whispered his. Blessings, splashes, my precious. I guess it's a choice feast. Leave it. Leave muscle. And make us Gollum. And when he said Gollum, I heard that horrible whirring noise in his throat. That's how he got his name. Although he always called himself my precious. The hobbit jumped nearly out of his skin when the hiss came in his ears, and he suddenly saw the pale eyes sticking out at him. Who are you? He said, thrusting his dagger in front of him. What is he, my precious? Whispered Gollum, and then he spoke to himself, though never having anyone else to speak to. This is what he had come to find out. Well, he was not really very hungry at the moment. Only curious. Honestly, he would have grabbed first and whispered afterwards. I am Bibble Baggins. I've looked the doses, and I've lost the wizard. I do not know what I am, and I do not want to know. If only I can get away. He got in the savage and this. I'm looking at the sword, which he did not quite like. I saw it. I believe looking at Gondolin. Hiss, the Gollum. I ain't quite polite. Perhaps visits here and chats with it a bit, see my precious. Exactly it does. Perhaps it does it? It was anxious to be very friendly, but anyway for the moment. So they found out. One about the sword and the hobbit. Whether he was quite alone, really. Whether he was good to eat. Whether Gollum was really hungry. Riddles were all he could think of. Asking them, sometimes guessing them, been the only game he ever played. With other funny creatures. Right on the horse. And a long, long ago. For he lost all his friends and was driven away. Alone. Creep down, down. To the dark under the mountains. Very well, said Bibble, who was anxious to agree. But he found out more about the creature. Whether he was quite alone, whether he was fierce hungry, and whether he was a friend of the goblins. You ask first, he said, because he not had time to think of the riddle. So Gollum hissed, "What's this roots?" And nobody sees. It's taller than trees. Up, up it goes. It never goes. Easy, said Pipple. Imagine, I suppose. Does it get easy? I must have a competition with us. No, precious. Precious asks and doesn't answer. Eat it, my precious. Red asks and we don't answer. And we just what it wants. We shows it the way out, yes. Alright, said Bibble, not daring to disagree. And I fuss in his brain and think of riddles. I could say them for me eating. 30 wood horses on a red hill. First they jump, then they stand, then they stand still. That was all he could think of to ask. The idea of eating was rather on his mind. It was a rather old one too. And Gollum knew the answer as well as you do. Chestnuts, chestnuts, he hissed. Teeth, teeth, my precious. But we only have 6. Let me ask a second. What's this? He cries. Wingless fetters. Liveless bites. Mouthless mitters. Have a moment, cried Bibble. Rosa began uncomfortably hurrying. Fortunately, had once heard him highlighted just before and gained his wits back. Thought the answer. Wind, Dickles, he said. He was so pleased he made up one on the spot. This will puzzle the nasty little underground creature, he thought. An eye in the blue face, or an eye in the green face. That eye is like to the side. Had the first eye. A low place, not in the high place. Yes, they got them. He'd been underground a long, long time and was forgetting the sort of thing. But just as Bibble was beginning to hope that the wrench would not be able to answer, Gollum borrowed memories of ages and ages before. And he lived with his grandmother in the hole in the bank of the river. Tss, tss, my precious is, he said. Turn the daisies, it means, it does. But these old men rough ground everyday sorts of riddles were tiring for him. Also, they remind him of days They'd been less lonely and sneaky and nasty, and put him out of temper. What is more, they made him hungry, so this time they tried something a bit more difficult and more unpleasant. It cannot be unseen, cannot be felt, cannot be heard, cannot be smelled, and lies lying stars and under his empty holes it fills, comes first and follows after, and his life kills laughter. Unfortunately for Gollum, Bibble had heard that sort of thing before, and the answer ran all around him anyway. Duck! He said, without scratching his head, putting on a sticky cap. The box without hinges, key or lid. He had golden treasure inside his head. He has to gain time until he could think of a really hard one. This he thought of definitely easily just now, though he had not asked it in the usual words. When Bill and a poster for Gollum, he hissed himself, and still he did not answer. He whispered and spluttered. After some while, Bibble came and paid. Well, what is it? He said, as his not a kettle boiling over as you've seen the thing for the noise I'm making. Give us a chance. Let it give us a chance, my precious. Well, said Bibble, after giving him a long chance. What about your guess? But suddenly Gollum remembered even found this long ago. Sitting under the bank, Eugenia's grandmother. Eugenia's grandmother suck exorcist. He hissed. Exorcist it is, then he had. A life without breath. It's close death, not thirsty. Everything. And never tinkly. He also understood thought this was a dreadfully easy one. But he was always thinking the answer. But he couldn't remember anything better at the moment. He was so flustered by the egg question. All saying it was posted for poor Bibble. Or never had anything to do with the water if he could help it. Imagine you know the answer, of course. Well, you can guess it's easy as winking. Since you're sitting comfortably at home and not have the danger of being ancient instead of thinking. Bibble sat and cleared his throat once or twice, but no answer came. After a while, Gollum began to hiss, with pleasure to himself. It's a nice, my precious. Is it juicy? Is it subscriptionally comfortable? And began to peer Bibble out of the darkness. Have a moment, said the hobbit, shivering. I gave you a good long chance just now. We must make haste, said Gollum, and to climb out of his boat onto the shore to get a Bibble. But when he put his long, webby foot in the water, a fish jumped out in fright and landed on Bibble's stills. Ugh, he said, It is cold and climbing. Like us. Fish, fish, he cried. It is fish. Gollum was definitely disappointed. Well, Ribble asked another riddle as quick as he could. As quick as he ever could. Gollum had to get back into his boat and think. No legs lay on one leg. Two legs stand near on three legs. Her legs got some. It was not really the right time for this riddle, but Bibble was in a hurry. Gollum might have had some trouble guessing it if he had asked it another time. As it was, stuck in a fish, no legs, was not so very difficult. And after that, the rest was easy. Fish on the tail, men had the tail, sitting on stool, the cat has the bones. That, of course, is the answer, and Gollum soon gave it. I thought the time had come to ask something horrible. This is what he said. 18. All things to feather, birds, beasts, trees, flowers. Goes iron, fights steel. Binds heart downs to meal. Slays keen and understand. Meets Hamilton down. Poor Bibble sat in the dark thinking of all the horrible names of other giants and ogres he had ever heard told of in tales. But not one of them had done all these things. He had a feeling the answer was quite different, only he ought to know it, but he could not think of it. And yet, to get frightened. And that is bad for thinking. Well, began to get out of his boat. He flapped into the water, held to the bank. Bibble could see his eyes coming towards him. The sun seemed to stick in itself. He wanted to shout out, "Give me more time, give me time." But all that came out with the sun's squeal was, "Time, time." Bibble was safe by pure luck, for that, of course, was the answer. Gollum was disappointed once more. I was getting angry and also tired of the game. Yeah, it made him very hungry indeed. This time he did not go back to the boat. He sat down and dark by Bibble. It's made the hobbit most mentally uncomfortable and scared his wits. He's got to ask us a question, my precious sis. Yes, yes, yes. Just one more question and yes, 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 said Gollum. But Bibble simply could not think of any question that nasty Michael Dane sitting next to him, implying and poking him. He scratched himself, he pinched himself, so he could not think anything. Excess, excess, said Gollum. Bilbo pinched himself and slapped himself. He gripped on his little sword. He even found in his pocket with his other hand. Then he found the ring. He picked up in the passage I'd forgotten about. What have I got in my pocket? He said aloud. He was talking to himself. But Gollum thought it was real. He was ready and set. Not fair, not fair, he hissed. Isn't fair, my precious. He said the assets of this guy, nasty little pocket is. La la la. Sorry. People seeing what had happened and having no better luck. People seeing what had happened and having nothing better to ask. Stuck to his question. What had got in my pocket? He said, hiss. Let's Gollum. You must give us 3 kisses, my precious. 3 kisses. Very well, said Bilbo. Kiss away. Kisses. Said Gollum. On, said Bilbo. Oh, luckily just taking this hand out again. Kiss again. Said Gollum. Well, it said them before. I thought of all the things he kept in his own pockets. Fish bones, lemon teeth, wet sails, a bit of bad rain, a sharp stone, sharpen his reins on, other nasty things. He tried to think what other people kept in their pockets. Knife, he said the last. Roll, said Bilbo. I lost his some time ago. Let's guess. Now Gollum was in a much worse state than when Bilbo had asked him the question. He isn't splattered and rots himself. There wasn't fluids. I slapped his feet on the floor and wiggled and squirmed. But still, he did not dare to make his last guess. Come on, said Bilbo. I am waiting. He tried to sound bold and cheerful, but he did not feel all that sure that the game was going to end. Neither Gollum guessed right or not. Time's up, he said. Clean or nothing, shrieked Gollum. It was not quite fair. Again, in 2 cases at once. Both wrong, said Bilbo. cried Bibble. Move on, cried Bibble. I must leave, and he... jumped at once to his feet. He was back to the news hall and out his little sword. He knew, of course, that the real game was scarce from enemies and cruelty, and even wicked creatures were afraid to cheat. They played at it, but he felt he could not trust the slimy thing to keep it. He promised at a pinch. Any excuse would be for him to hide out of it. And after all, that last question had not been any monumental according to ancient laws. But by any rate, Gollum did not at once attack him. You could see the sword in Bibble's hand. Sat still, shivering and whispering. Unless Bibble could not wait no longer. No, he said. What about your promise? I want to go. You must show me the way. Did we teach you fishes? So the nasty little baggins. Well, yeah, yes. What else he got in his pockets, he? Let's do my fishes. Oh, not nothing. Oh no, Gollum. Never you mind, said Bibble. A promise is a promise. Course it is. Speaking fishes, hissed Gollum. But it must. Wait, yes it must. I can't go up the tunnel so hastily. We must go and get something. Yes, need to help us. Now hurry up, said Bibble. I need to think of Gollum going away. He thought he was just making an excuse. I did not mean to come back. What was Gollum talking about? Well, useful things. Would he keep out on the dark lake? He was on. Gollum did need to come back. He was angry now, hungry. And he was a wicked creature, and already he had a plan. Not far away was his island, where Bibble knew nothing. And there in this high place, he kept a few mints and mints. And one very beautiful thing. Very beautiful, very wonderful. He had a ring, a golden ring, a precious ring. My birthday present, he said to himself. But yet, often done in these dark days. That's what we want. Now, yes, we want it. He wanted it because it was a ring of power. If you slip that ring on your finger, you're invincible. Only in the full sunlight could you be seen. And then only by your shadow. And that would be taking faint. What birthday present? He came to me on my birthday, my precious. So he always says always said to himself. But who knows how Gollum came by that present ages ago in the old days, when such things were still large in the world. As even the master who rules them could not have said. Gollum used to wear it at first, till tired him, right? Kept it in the palace, next to his skin, till it gave him. And now he knew she hid in the hole in the rock on his island. I was always going back to look at it. And still sometimes he put it on. But he could not bear to be apart from it any longer. No, when he was very, very hungry and tired of fish. And he would creep along the dark passages looking for stray goblins. May even venture into places where torches were lit. And made his eyes blink and spark. For he would be safe. Oh yes, quite safe. No one would see him. No one would notice him. Until that the singers on their throat. Only a few hours ago he had worn it. And called us. Woke up and limp. And squealed. He still had a bone and two left to go. And one something softer. He's safe. Yes. His son turns up. It won't see us. We live my precious. No one won't see us. As nasty. No, so it would be useless. Yes, quite. That is what was in his liquid with a mind. The family from Bibble's side. And flapped back to his ball. And went off into the dark. Bibble thought he heard the last of him. Simply waited a while. Well, he had no idea how to find his way out alone. Suddenly he heard a screech and sent a shiver down his. Back. Gollum was cursing and wailing away in the gloom. Not very off from it. I had the sound of it. It was on his island. Traveling here and searching and seeking in vain. We eat it. We eat it. Bibble heard him crying. Lost it. Oh yes, it's lost. Curse us and curse us. My precious is lost. What's the matter? Bibble called. What have you lost? It mustn't ask us, like Gollum. Not this business, no Gollum. It's lost Gollum. Gollum gone. Well, so am I, cried Bibble. I want to get them lost. And I won the game and you promised, so come on. Come and let me out. And go on where you're looking. Utterly invisible as Gollum ascended. Bibble could not hang such pity in his heart. I have a feeling that anything Gollum wanted so much hardly means something good. Come along, he shouted. No, not yet, precious. Answered. We had searched for it. It's lost, Gollum. You never guessed my last question. And you promised, said Bibble. Never guessed, said Gollum. And suddenly, out of Gollum came a sharp hiss. What does he get? It's in pockets. Tell us that. It must tell first. As far as Bibble knew, there was no particular reason why he should not tell. Gollum's mind jumped to a guess quicker than his, naturally. Like Gollum boldly ranges on this one thing. He was always afraid of its being stolen. But Bibble was knowing the delay. After all, he won the game pretty fairly and a horrible risk. I just were to be guessed, not given, he said. But they original questions to Gollum, not a little precious, no. Oh, well, if there's a matter of only questions, Bibble replied. Then I asked one first. What have you lost? Tell me that. What's it getting these bucket seas? House was down the game of history. Louder and sharper. They looked towards it. There's an alarm. Bibble now saw 2 small points of light peering at him. A suspicion grew Gollum's mind. The light of his eyes burned with a pale flame. What have you lost? Bibble persisted. But the light, now the light in Gollum's eyes, become green fire, and it was coming stiffer nearer. Gollum was in his boat again, paddling wildly back to the dark shore. In such a way, the lost position was in his heart. Had no sword, and only more terror for him. Bibble could not guess what had maddened the wretched creature. He saw all was up for Gollum meant to murder him at any rate. Just in time, he turned and finally back up the dark passage. Down which he come, moving close to the wall and feeling it with his left hand. What as he gets in his bucket seas? He heard the hiss loud behind him. On his breast, Skull left him as well. What if I, I wonder? Being Prince's double one. He put his left hand in his pocket. The ring felt very cold. And the zip on quiet zip quietly slipped onto his groping forefinger. This was close behind him. He turned now and saw Gollum's eyes like all great lamps coming up to slope. Terrified, he tried to run faster. And suddenly he stuck his toes on his leg in the floor and fell flat with his little sword under him. The moment Gollum was under him. The moment Gollum was on him. Before Bibble could do anything, from his bed to pick himself up. Away was what Gollum passed by, taking no notice of him, pressing and listening as he ran. What could it mean? Cause in the dark, Bibble could see the lights of his eyes. The palely shiny, even from behind. Thankfully, he got up. Keep it. His hood was now glowing faintly again, and cautiously he followed. There seemed nothing. There seemed nothing else to do. I was still crawling back down to Gollum's water. As if he followed him, Gollum I named to. Somebody escaped without meaning to. Cuss it, cuss it, cuss it. It's Gollum. Cuss the Baggins. It's gone. Once I got in, this pocket says. Oh, we guess, my precious. He's funny. Yes, you must have. My birthday present. Bibble pricked up his ears. He was less beginning against himself. Right? A little. Then, just as he did, behind Gollum, I was still going quickly, not looking back, and turning his head from side to side. And Bibble unconceived and the faint glimmer in the walls. A birthday present, cuss it! How did we lose it, my precious? Yes, that's it. When I came this way last, and we just let that nasty young squealer. That's it, cuss it! It's there from us. Until all these ages and ages, it's gone, Gollum. Suddenly, Gollum sat down and began to weep. I whispered, and whistling, and Eileen, then horrible to listen to. Bibble halted and found himself against the tunnel wall. While Gollum stopped weeping and began to talk. Seemed to me have an argument with himself. No good going back to the church, no. And just remembered all the places we had visited and did. There's no use. The Baggins had scattered in its pockets. The next thing knows that it's found every sense. We guess this, my precious. Oh, we guess this. Right? And I know we find a nasty creature and this. Squeeze it. And it doesn't know what the person can do, does it? He'll just keep it in his pockets. He doesn't know. He can't go far. He's lost himself. The nasty thing. He doesn't know the way out. He said so. What, you want to read? You want to read about a hobbit? There's a bit there. I said so. Yes. Very tricky. Yes. And doesn't say what it means. The one say what it got in its pockets is. In yours. In yours. Way in. The mission way out, yes. It's up to the back door. To the back door, that is. The Gollum says to catch it. Then. You can't get out that way. Hiss. Gollum. Goblin says, yes. But it's got the present. My precious present. The Goblin says, we get it, Gollum. Then find it. Then find out what it does. Right? You can't ever be. See if you can. I mean, Gollum. When the Goblin says, we'll put it on. And no one will see him. Be there, but not seen. Not even a clever guy says will notice him. And the creepy says, and Trixie seeing, catches Gollum. And let's stop talking, precious. Make case that the Baggins has gone that way. Let's go, quick and see. Go, not fun now, make case. With this thing, Gollum got up, started scrambling over the gate pace. Bibble hurried at them. Still cautiously, Lois. Chief fear now was tripping on another side and falling with a noise. His head was in a little open window. It seemed that the rain he had was a magic ring and made him invisible. He had heard of such things, of course. And old tables. But it was hard to believe that he had found one. By accident. Still there it was, Gollum with his bright eyes passed him by. Only a yard to one side. On they went. Gollum took flapping ahead, hissing and cursing. Bibble behind, going as softly as a hobbit can. Soon they gained to places where Bibble and on the way down, side passages open. This and that. Gollum at once began to count them. One left, yes. One right, yes. Two right, yes, yes. Two left. And so on and on. The count where we slowed down. We began and shaky and weepy. But he was leaving in the water farther and farther behind, and he was getting afraid. Goblin sight of me about, and he lost his thing. Or else he stopped by a low opening on their left as they went up. 7 right, yes. 6 left, yes, he whispered. This is it. This is the way to back door, yes. Here's the passage. He beat in and shrank back. By them also glowing faces. Nobody did them. Goblin sits down there. Also Goblin says, he smells them. He's. What should we do? Question. We must take away here. I says, eat beer and tea. And the game to a dead stop. Well, I brought Bibble the way out after all. But Bibble could not get in. Little Gollum then humped up right in the opening. And his eyes being cold in his head as he swayed there from side to side between his knees. Bibble flipped away from the wall more quietly than a mouse, while Gollum sniffed at once and sniffed, and his eyes went green. He hissed softly but recently. He could not see the hobbit, but now he was on alert. And he had other senses. The darkness had sharpened, hearing and smell. He seemed to be crunched right down with his flat hands flat on the floor. And his head thrust out, nose almost to the stone. Though he was only a black shadow in the gleam of his own eyes, Bibble could see or feel that he was tense as a bowstring, gathered for its spring. Bibble almost stopped breathing and went stiff himself. He was desperate. He must get away out of this horrible darkness while he had any strength left. He must fight. He must stab that left thing. Put his eyes out. Kill it. He meant to kill it. No, not a fair fight. He was invisible now. Gollum had no sword. Gollum had not actually threatened to kill him. Or tried to yet. and he was miserable, alone, lost. And silent understanding, a pity mixed with horror leapt up in Bible's heart. When it was days without light or hope, it was amid heartstone, goldfish, stinking or spinning. All these thoughts passed in a flash of a second. He trembled. Then quite suddenly, in another flash, it lifted by a new strength of his all. He leapt. He leaped. No great leap for a man, or a leap in the dark. A little the Gollum's laid on. Then flew forward, leaped into the air. Indeed, had he known. And only the mist cracked in his skull on the low arch of the passage. Gollum flew himself backwards, and grabbed as the hobbit flew over him, but too late. His hands snapped on Finna and Bibble, falling beyond his 30 feet. Sped off down the new tunnel. He did not turn to see what Gollum was doing. There was a hissing incursion almost at his heels at first, then it stopped. All at once, there came a blood-curdling shriek filled with hatred and despair. Gollum was defeated. He did not go no further. He had lost his prey and lost to the only thing he had ever cared for, his precious. The guy held his heart to his mouth, but still he held on. Not as a faint echo, but instantly the voice came again. Leaf! Leaf! Beckons. He hates it. He hates it forever. Then there was a silence. But that too seemed instantly to Bibble. The goblins are so near, he smelled them, he thought. Then they heard his sneaking and kissing. Careful now, for this way will lead you to worse things. The passage was low and roughly made. It was not too difficult for the hobbit, except despite the ill care, he stepped his portals again, several times, on nasty jagged. Stones in the floor. Below for goblins. These for the big ones, my Bibble. Not knowing that even the big ones looks on the mountains. Go along a great speed, stooping low, with hands almost on the ground. And soon the passage that had been sloping down began to go up again. After a while, it climbed steeply. That's old Bibble dead. Unless the slope stopped, passage turned the corner and dripped down again. And there, at the bottom of a short incline, saw floating round on the corner, a glimpse of light, not red light as a fire lantern, but a pale out of the door solid light. Then Bibble began to run. Suddenly, as fast as his legs were carrying him, he turned in the last corner and came suddenly right into an open space where the light After all the time in the dark, they basically play. He was only pickets and shining through the doorway. Where a great door or a stone door was left standing open. Ripple blinked, and suddenly he saw the goblins. Goblins in full armor, dressed swords, laying just inside the door, and watching him with wide eyes, and watching the passage that led to it. They were rest alert, wait for anything. They saw him soon, then he saw them. Yes, he saw him. Whatever was accident, unless trick of the dream, where it took a new master. It was not on his finger. Like yells of delight. The goblins rushed upon him, making a fear and loss, like it echoed goblins' misery. Won't Bibble regained it. Ninja's sword. He stuck his hands into his pockets, and they were sitting still. His left pocket and slipped under his finger. The goblins stopped short. They could not see the fate of him. He vanished. They yelled twice as before. Not so delightfully. Where is it? They cried. Go back up the passage. Some shouted. This way, some yelled. That way, others yelled. Look for the doorbell, the captain. Whistles blew, and crashed. Doors rattled. Goblins cursed, sworn, and hither and thither, falling over one another and getting very angry. There was a terrible outcry to do and disturbance. Bibble was desperately frightened, but yet the sense to understand what had happened and to sneak as a big barrel and held thing for the goblin guards, and so get out of the way while being bumped into. Trampled to death, caught by feel. I must get to the door. He kept on saying to himself, but it was a long time before he ventured to try. Then, it was like a horrible game of linesman's bluff. Replaces all goblins lying around a poor little hobbit. This way and that. Was knocked over by a goblin who could not make out what he bumped into. Then went up again in all force. Yet between the legs of the captain, just in time, got up and ran for the door. It was still ajar. But a goblin had pushed in nearly two. Bibble struggled, but he could not move it. He tried to squeeze through the crack. Squeeze and squeeze, and he stuck. It was awful. Spun as it was on the edge, the door and the doorpost. He could see outside into the open air. There was a few steps lying down into a narrow valley between tall mountains. The sun came out from behind the cloud and shone brightly on the outside of the door, but he could not get through. Suddenly one of the goblins inside shouted, "There's a shadow by the door. Something's outside." Bibble's heart jumped into his mouth. He gave a terrific scream. Buttons must have all directions. He was ripped when a torn coat and waistcoat leaping on the stairs like a goat. While bewildered goblins was still picking up his nice brass buttons on the doorstep. Of course, soon they came down after him, holding hot to lean and hunting amongst the trees. But they don't like the sun. It makes their legs wobble and heads giddy. They could not find Bibble with the rain on. Nipping in and out the shadow, the trees, lying quick and quiet, and keeping out the sun. So they went back, grumbling and cursing front door. Bibble had escaped. So that is chapter 5, guys. Next time we're looking at chapter 6. Isle of the Flying into the Fire. Bye.